Good morning, students, and welcome to our ICT 7 third quarter week 1 discussion. This is Aljay Buhian, your ICT 7 subject teacher. After this discussion, if ever you want to view it again, you can access it on our lcms.gaitf.com link. So, may you enjoy this discussion and may God bless you. For this quarter, we will be talking about perform mensuration and calculation. And for this week's topic or discussion, we will be talking about the memory. And before going to discuss the memory or the topic memory, let us know the objectives first. So at the end of the lesson, the students will be able to A. Identify object or component to be measured. B. Obtain correct specifications from relevant resources. And C. Obtain accurate measurements for the job. Okay, so memory. Memory is technically any form of electronic storage. It is used most often to identify fast, temporary forms of storage. So if your computer's CPU had to constantly access the hard drive to retrieve every piece of data it needs, it would operate very slowly. When the information is kept in memory, the CPU can access it much more quickly. And most forms of memory are intended to store data temporarily. So the CPU accesses memory according to a distinct hierarchy, whether it comes from permanent storage, the hard drive, or input, the keyboard. Most data go in random access memory, or RAM first. Then the CPU then stores pieces of data it will need to access, often in a cache, and maintain certain special instructions in the register. So there are two types of memory. So the first one is the read-only memory or ROM. And then the second one is the random access memory or RAM. Let's talk about read-only memory or ROM. So read-only memory or ROM are chips which are located in the motherboard. So ROM chips contain instructions that can be directly accessed by the CPU. Basic instructions for booting the computer and loading the operating system are stored in ROM. And then, ROM chips retain their contents even when the computer is powered down. The contents cannot be erased or changed by normal means. Then now let's talk about the random access memory or RAM. So it is the temporary storage for data and programs that are being accessed by the CPU. So RAM is volatile memory, which means that the contents are erased when the computer is powered off. The more RAM in a computer, the more capacity the computer has to hold and process large programs and files, as well as enhance system performance. Early computers had RAM installed in the motherboard as individual chips. The individual memory chips are called dual inline package or DIP chips. So it was difficult to install and often became loose on the motherboard. So to solve this problem, designers soldered the memory chips on a special circuit board called a memory module. So here are some types of memory modules. So we have the dual inline package, single inline memory module, dual inline memory module, rhombus inline memory module or RIM, and then the small outline dual inline memory module or SUDIM. Single inline memory modules have 30-pin and 72-pin configurations. And for dual inline memory module is a circuit board that holds SDRAM, DDR, or SDRAM and DDR2 SDRAM. the speed of memory has a direct impact on how much data a processor can process because faster memory improves the performance of the processor. As processor speed increases, memory speed must also increase. So like for example, single channel memory is capable of transferring data at 64 bits, while dual channel memory increases speed by using a second channel of memory, creating a data transfer rate of 128 bits. So it's just like being doubled in dual channel memory. Now let's talk about double data rate or DDR. So double data rate or DDR is a technology which doubles the maximum bandwidth of SDRAM. So DDR2 offers faster performance while using less energy, and DDR3 operates at even higher speeds than DDR2. However, none of these DDR technologies are backward or forward compatible. Even with a wide and fast bus, it still takes longer for data to get from the memory card to the CPU than it takes for the CPU to actually process the data. So that is why caches are designed to elevate this bottleneck by making the data used most often by the CPU instantly available. And registers are memory cells built right into the CPU that contain specific data needed by the CPU, particularly the arithmetic and logical unit or ALU, an integral part of the CPU itself. They are controlled directly by the compiler that sends information for the CPU to process. And that ends our topic for this week. So thank you for listening and may God bless you.